All right. What's going on, everyone out there on YouTube? NES Ruler. Welcome to a brand new review, and this time around we'll be checking out a film that was sent to me review by Music Box Films, and you can pick this up on Blu-ray at all your favorite online retailers. It is a film from the year 2022 from France titled Rodeo. So, once again, very excited to be working with Music Box Films. The Music Box is a very dear place in my heart. It is a legendary place here in Chicago to go and watch films. It's a cinephile's heaven. And I've been going there for half my life at this point. I'm 30. I've probably been going there since I've been 13 or 14. And to see its change and evolve over the years to what it is today is really, really awesome. It's just an amazing, amazing place. If anybody ever comes here and visits from Chicago and you guys are film fans, I definitely recommend you guys go check out the Music Box and go check out some films. I've been going to their annual 24-hour horror marathon for 14 years at this point. I think this year is going to be my 14th year going. So, it's always the highlight of my year. And if you guys have been listening to the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast over the years, you know I always talk about it and my experience every year. So, very excited to be working with them. They release films. And this is the first film that I'm going to be talking about that they've released. Like I said, it's a French film. Very interesting masculinity-based feminist kind of a film. A lot of male characters in this film that are very scared of getting their masculinity stripped away by our main character. So basically we follow Julia. Julia is a little bit of a wanderer. We really don't get too much backstory of who she is, why she is a wanderer. We get a little bit of a family life story in the beginning of the film between her and her brother, but it doesn't really develop out of there. She's pretty much just a loner, but she's very much into motorbikes and going to these what they call rodeos, which is these motorbike meetups where people who are interested in motorbikes get together and they ride and they do wheelies and do crazy stunts. And basically, she doesn't have any money, so she goes around and she cons people and says she's interested in buying their bikes. And when she goes to test drive them, she steals them. And ultimately, she becomes intertwined with this motorbike gang ran by this guy who is in prison. And basically, she becomes the main attraction of going around and stealing these bikes. And she basically becomes more and more intertwined with the conflicts with this motorbike gang. And this is where the masculinity themes come into play, because Julia is a really threatening character. You know, she knows about bikes, and she's the only woman rider in this huge group filled with very masculine men. And they become very, very defensive when she comes in and stands up for herself, particularly this one character who ultimately beats the crap out of her towards the middle of the film. So it's a huge film about fitting in, masculinity, and women's rights. I feel like this movie would fall apart, but it's really held together by the main performance by Julia Lethu, who plays Julia. She does an amazing, amazing job in this film. She's never been in another film before. This is her first film. The director, this is her first theatrical debut. But she does such an amazing job. She really, really holds this movie together. Her performance is really, really solid. I feel like if you had somebody else in this movie, in that performance, who maybe wasn't as strong, the movie probably wouldn't have held together like it did. Now, the movie does have its fair share of issues. Not a lot of issues, but it does have some issues. Like I said, that the backstory with Julia, I wish it was a little bit more fleshed out, but it is what it is. And the relationship that Julia makes with the guys who's in prison, the guy who runs the gang's wife, and his son. Julia becomes intertwined with the conflict between these three characters. wish it was a little bit more developed as well. But ultimately, I feel like the movie is shot on, you could tell it's probably shot on 60 millimeters, that very grainy look to it. And the movie just looks really fantastic. I feel like it has that aesthetic that it was trying to achieve. And I just really enjoyed it. It's a really interesting character piece. And I feel like if you guys like character films, you guys like movies like mid-90s, well, it's not as comedical as mid-90s. It has that same kind of culture themes and aspects that movie has with skateboarding, that this movie has with motorbiking. So if you guys like that, it's kind of mixed with a Harmony Korine kind of film, his aesthetic and his kind of quirky characters. If you guys like those movies, then you're probably going to really, really like this. Transfer-wise, it's a brand new film, but like I said, it's shot on film, you could tell, so it has that grainy kind of feel to it. Sounds really good. Didn't notice any problems with any of the subtitles. The package here is nice. You have Julia with some of the gang members, and on the back, and on the front, we have a disc with a blue cover, same back cover art and same cover art on the front, just in blue instead of orange. So feature-wise, we got some features on this release. We have an interview with the director. Interesting. I enjoyed that. And then we have some more footage of the dirt bike. The dirt biking in this film is really, really great. Really fantastic, top-notch stunt work in this movie with the dirt bikes. You can tell it's done by people who know what they're doing. Got a music video, and then a short film, as well as another feature with some of the sound design choices and mixes and things like that. So ultimately, Rodeo is a really interesting film. I had a really interesting time watching it. I saw what the filmmaker was going for. It had some shortcomings, but I feel like overall it was a pretty enjoyable film. So that was my review of Rodeo. If you guys like this review, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NESRuler22. Follow me on Letterboxd, letterboxd.com/NESRuler22. Hope everybody is doing well, and I shall talk to you guys soon. See you guys.